Hi everyone, Gary O'Neil here, Intuitive Solutions. And I had an epiphany, and maybe not even an epiphany, but I was going through a lot of my old pictures the other day, and came across some pictures from the first business I had with MJ right out of college, and it kind of started stirring some kind of emotions for me because I was like, man, that was the first time I was in business, and I didn't care about anything other than making that business successful. And then I thought about like, that was pure hustle, business hustle. And I love that word, and it's coming back with a vengeance, because I think it's getting back down to that real primitive, instinctual part of your human nature to be successful. And so I started thinking about it, and then it reminded me of kind of our first big kind of radio station debut in San Francisco, and at the time we were based out of Colorado, so it was far away. And the DJ said, "Hey, we want to put you guys on, so you'll be able to talk about your business and be able to kind of communicate to the world our whole brand and company." And we thought that was major. But the one thing we didn't have is a lot of money, so we basically decided to jump in a car and drive from Colorado all the way to San Francisco to do pretty much a 15-minute spot and then drive back, because we didn't have the money to stay at a hotel. And what I remember from that, and I remember the journey because we started out, and you always have this imagination of a trip, right? You're sitting there and you're talking about business and you're going through all these different discussions, and they're always good because it brings out a lot of fruit from it. But probably within 6 hours of the trip, we hit Wyoming, and we hit a tremendous blizzard to the point where you really couldn't see even 10 feet ahead of your car. And we got stuck because we had one semi that was jackknifed on the back side of us, and then another one was jackknifed in front of us as well. So there was probably, maybe 500 yards or so between, and we were in the middle between the two jackknife semis. And I remember thinking, are we crazy to do this? I mean, should we just go back home and, say, hey, we'll do this another day? But I remember both of us, we were sitting in the car and the heater was half working, and we just waited it out for 3 hours, sitting in the middle of the highway with those semis, sitting there in our way. And they finally got removed, and we were finally able to get out. But I just remember it because it was kind of a scary moment, and it was a moment that a lot of people may have decided, you know what, it's not worth it. We're heading back to Colorado, and we'll figure it out. But we were so determined to get there. We weathered that without even really blinking an eye. We knew we were in a dangerous spot, but we decided to keep going. So we got out of that, and then I think once we hit California, the weather was great, and it was hot. And I'd been driving for, must have been maybe 20 some odd hours straight, and I was tired. I don't know why MJ didn't drive. I'm trying to remember the reason why he didn't drive, but whatever it was, I was driving for a long time, and I remember I was speeding, and we got pulled over, and the cop basically said, hey, did you know that you were doing, 90 miles an hour and a 65? And I was so delirious that I said, oh yeah, I was booking it. I was going fast because I had no frame of reference. But even after that, me and MJ, we always joke because I'm always like, man, I was just so delirious at that point, but I was on such a focused mission, and we were just on such a focused mission that there wasn't going to be anything that was going to deter us to getting to that radio station and doing that interview. And the funny thing is we finally got there, and I'm just dead of heat exhaustion. MJ's dead of heat exhaustion, and we conquered our mission. And when we got there, we actually were so tired we didn't even do a great interview. We basically didn't even open our mouths. But the point of it is that we were really focused on doing something small for our business that we thought was going to really make it a big impact. And that's the type of hustle that I'm talking about. And a lot of times it's hustle to do the small things, because your mind always tells you, hey, it's easy to hustle for the big things. But when you're hustling for the little things, those little things is what makes a difference in your company. And I just want to say, keep your hustle in mind and never let things go, because there can be one thing that can make your company. And if you don't go for it without vigor, you're going to miss out on something and you're going to regret it. And I'm glad we did that because it actually kind of set us up at that point where there wasn't anything we weren't going to do to make the business happen at that point. Because we were willing to go through a blizzard and go through heat exhaustion and driving 22 hours straight. You know, there was nothing that was going to stop us on anything else, because everything else would probably be small compared to that and less life-threatening. So just a big lesson is really think about your business and think about being out in front of it, you know. And the way I determine what hustle is being out front and being who you are and making sure that you create an effect on everything that you're doing. And really think about that, because it's a lot of things that you get into the mundane pieces of your business of just, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But it's really concentrating on those things that are going to really make a difference in your business and really going for it and letting people know who you are, how you are, and what you stand for. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the story a little bit. And really this was just based on, you know, business hustle, persistence, perseverance. See you next time. Gary O'Neil.